StitchyTube, settle down and watch StitchyTube. Hey everybody, I make you seasick. It is, what time is it? It's 4:30 on Friday and I'm shooting a StitchyTube. It's, today ended up being another Fibro Fog Day. I had one last week on Friday too. Maybe Fridays are just going to be F for Friday, you know, like there's Witchy Wednesday. I'm going to have Fibro Friday. I ended up actually scheduling a last minute massage and went at 2. And I go to this really nice guy. He's, his name's Robert, and he has his own little business like right next to a gas station on the highway, just really close here. And I think I looked him up initially just based on his location. I was like, oh, I'll just try this guy. He's closest. And then he's really nice. He's, you know, kind of a big Mississippi guy. He wears black shoes with Velcro fasteners. And he's very, very sweet. So like if he's, you know, massaging you and you say, ooh, that was really sore, he'll say, oh, I'm sorry. And then at the end he says, thank you. He whispers it. He's very, very sweet. So anyway, I went and I came back and I told Harrison, I said, it's so weird because, you know, when you have fibromyalgia, it's just you live in pain. Like just 100% of the time you have some level of pain. There's never not pain, unfortunately. At least not for me. But it's just kind of degrees on how, if it's real bad or not. And you kind of get used to it, which sounds weird, but you just like, you carry it and your muscles carry it. And so you get, you know, can get kind of, you know, kind of pain trapped in your muscles because you're just sore and tense all the time. And I told Harrison, Zero says, I want to see the people too. Zero got some chicken this afternoon. Did you get some chicken? So, he walked around the, you know, I got all situated and he walked around the table and he took his finger and he pressed like right where my like ball meets the joint in my hips. Like he just kind of went like this. And it's like, and inside I went, oh my gosh, that kills there. That hurts. I didn't know it hurt, but when he touched it, it's like, oh, that really hurts. And I asked him why that is, you know, like why is it that you can just have pain and you don't notice it till somebody like really points it out? And he said he didn't know, but I told Harrison, I said, so amazing he can just like zero in. And he said, maybe it just is like, you know, you're holding yourself a certain way and he can just tell like where your pain is. And I said, he has a pretty good shot if he walks around my body just to like touch and have it hurt. It reminds me of Indiana Jones. The original Indiana Jones movie. He's like all rough and tumble and gets in all these fights. And Marion is trying to tend to his cuts and bruises and things. And he's like, ow, that hurts. Ow, that hurts. And she gets mad. She says, is there anywhere that it doesn't hurt? And he goes, here. And then she gives him a little kiss. And he goes, here's not too bad. And she gives him a little kiss. And then he goes like this. Then he gets another kiss. Then he goes to sleep. That's one of my favorite parts. So Zero, I guess you're hanging out with us for StitchyTube, huh? Okay, so here I am. Hello, Friday, and I had one question last week that I get from time to time, and so I thought I'd address it now just because it kind of pops up. I have a lot of questions that are repeat questions, things I've answered in previous videos, and I don't usually answer them again in a video if it's something I've already addressed. I just answer the person and then just kind of leave it at that. But somebody, repeatedly, I get questions, how do you find links or the comments of the videos? Because a lot of times people are like, I'll leave the link down there. They point down there. And some people say, well, I don't know what down there means. Do you know what down there means, Zero? He says, no, I don't know. So down there to your left, and at least this is how it is on my browser, there's a little circle right under the video here. Right under here, there should be a little circle with a picture of the person. It's kind of the channel picture or whatever, and it'll have the name of the channel. Oh, I know, you're so nice. And then you'll see this like 3 lines, the start of comments, and then you'll see bigger, kind of bolder words that say show more. If you click on the show more, that's going to open those comments up and you'll be able to click on links and, you know, see recipes or whatever else anybody had below there. And sometimes, you know, we just don't think, we say things and we don't think like, oh, people might not know what that is if they're new to FlossTube or they just haven't really ever tried before. I think I've talked about it before, but I'll just say it again. People oftentimes will ask for likes or subscriptions. And a like is over here. And you can click thumbs up or thumbs down. They both basically do the same thing. They give feedback to the person making the video. And I know that sometimes floss tubers get their feelings real hurt by the thumbs down. I don't really think it's people necessarily in the stitching community. There may be 3 or 4 people running around just thumbs downing everything. But, you know, anybody can stumble on your video. I stumble on weird videos all the time. And so if you get thumbs down, like, don't worry. When you give somebody a thumbs down, you may be communicating to that person, but you're also telling YouTube, see, I want to see fewer videos like this one. And so it's kind of a way, and so if you give it a thumbs up, then YouTube is going to be like, oh, okay, she likes this video about, I don't know, origami. So we're going to find her more videos about origami. So it's just that more will show up on your homepage. And then if you subscribe, which is the little button, then that just means that you can look up here. At least this is where it is on mine. You click and there a list comes down. And if you click on subscriptions, it'll take you to your own page of pages that you've subscribed to and their newest videos. So it's a way for you to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to go to my subscriptions and see if any of the people I subscribe to have posted a new video. And it's a way of keeping up to date. And you can unsubscribe anytime by clicking the button. Subscribing or unsubscribing doesn't cost any money. As far as I know, you know, there's really no downside to doing it. A lot of people will tell you to hit the bell too, and that way you'll actually get a notification if a new video comes up from that person or that channel. So that's all that those do. So thank you for the question. That's a good one, and it's good to be aware of these things. Zero is so happy. Are you so happy? He's got a belly full of chicken. I had some leftovers for dinner. I went and got one of those Walmart Sam's Club chickens that are like $5 that are already cooked, and I can get a few good meals out of that. Steve's out of town this week. His grandma died, so he's out in Colorado for her funeral, which was today. So I had chicken, which means Zero and Ty also had chicken. They don't have great teeth. They've had most of their teeth removed. Zero's got 3 left. Right? Come here. We'll hold you like a baby. Zero's got 3 left. Well, here, we'll tip it like this so people can see Zero. And you can see I have vacuum lines over here, which means I vacuumed because I knew you were coming over. He's a mess. Okay, so where was I going with that? Oh, so he's real happy. He's got a full belly. He does eat hard food with his gums, and he eats wet food, but he really likes fresh chicken. They all do. Okay, so the $25 gift card winner from last time was Nevada Stitcher! Nevada Stitcher, which I assume is a pen name and not like your actual name. If your actual name is Nevada Stitcher and you happen to live in Nevada and be a stitcher, that's amazing. But Nevada Stitcher said that the goal this year is to finish some whips and get some stitching done, which was a common refrain. The question was, what are some goals that you have for the year? And I think people are hesitant to say like, oh, it's my resolution, it's my goal, it's my plan. I mean, it doesn't matter really what you call it. We all know that sometimes it doesn't make it, and sometimes you are able to make a new habit. So I just hope yours is going well. The next drawing will be for 2 items. I've got this, I kind of like, we're hanging on to Christmas here. So you're going to get this really cute little notepad that says Believe, and it's a chalk style notepad. And then I found these. I had a couple sets left of these. I used to carry them. They are butterfly couture pins that I bought at Market a long time ago, and they're Christmassy. Look at how cute they are. So they're like just another Button Company buttons, the Fimo clay, but they're Christmas. And I had a couple sets of those, so I thought I'd give away one of those too. And we're just hanging on to, you know, make Christmas last all the year, right? So the question for next time, it is, what is something that they used to make that they don't make anymore? And this kind of question comes from something that happened to me this week. I was out running errands on Wednesday, and I know, Zero, it's so nice. I was out running errands on Wednesday, and I ended up at Books A Million because I needed to get a new planner for the year. And I walked in the same time as an older gentleman, and I walked up the aisle and he walked up the aisle, and he stopped to talk to an employee, and I stopped to look at something that was on a table. And he said something, and she said, "Excuse me?" And he said it again, And she went, okay, one more time. You know how it is like when you have to ask somebody to repeat themselves one more time. And he said, family games. Where are the family games? He had kind of a heavy accent of some sort. It seemed Greek, maybe. So she just said they're back there. And I was like, poor customer service. Because I used to be a manager over there. So I was like, you don't point. You take somebody to where it is. So he walked ahead of me, but he just went all the way back to the magazines and then stood in front of the magazines and was like, I don't see the games. So I said, sir, do you need help finding the games? And he said, yes, please. And I said, come over this way. I know where they are. So we looked, and he said he was looking for a backgammon set. And I said, oh my goodness, I haven't played backgammon for a long time. And he said, no, backgammon is really fun. And he said, I can't find it anywhere. So we looked and looked and looked. And I said, gosh, I just don't see it. I said, have you tried Target? He said, yes. I said, have you tried Walmart? He said, yes, and Hobby Lobby, and I can't find it. And I said, I don't know what to tell you. I said, you might have to order it. I don't know if it's just maybe not a common. He said, oh, people probably don't play a lot of backgammon anymore. And so I got my things, and he must have looked around for a while because we ended up exiting the store at the same time. And he said, thank you again for your help. I said, no problem. Have a happy new year. And we parted ways. And then literally in the same strip mall, I went to Target, and I was like, oh, I should stop at the back and see what the Christmas stuff is doing. And because I don't go out the day after Christmas to do the bargain shopping. Stuff is 50% off all season. I don't need it 50% off the day after Christmas. So I went all the way to the back to the Christmas section, which had kind of whittled down to 3 aisles, but they were hashed. I mean, they were broken ornaments and piles of stuff and crinkled things and empty boxes. And I mean, it was looking rough. And they were pulling out the lawn furniture because it's probably 60 here today. It feels cool, but it was warmer than that here this week. I walked in and there were swimsuits right there, right in the entrance. And it's like, okay, I guess Christmas is over. We're going to go swimming. So I walked back to the holiday stuff, and literally a huge display in front of the holiday stuff are like 40 or 50 backgammon games that were on clearance. And I was like, oh no, dude. He went to Target, but I'm sure he just went to the children's game section and didn't ask an employee, because where else would backgammon be but with the games? And it just happened that they had some, kind of those stocking stuffery type things. So he could have got a set really, really cheap. Poor guy. But, I mean, they do make backgammon still. But I haven't played it for a long time. It's Fun Zero. We should have named you Backgammon. Okay, so that's the question. What is something that they don't make anymore? They do make backgammon, but it just made me think of that. What is something that they used to make, but they don't make it anymore and you miss it? And then you'll be entered to win those pins and that notepad. And then Nevada Stitcher, just email me. My address will be below in the comments. Okay, so let's start with what I'm all into this week. And I'm actually going to start with what I'm not all into, but I kind of am, which is being gluten-free. Mwah, mwah. I just have, not been feeling super great, and I just have good days and bad days. And I got to thinking, I tried that Whole30 diet, which I ended up giving up on. I should have called it Whole15. It just seemed weird to me that you could eat as much bacon as you wanted to, but you couldn't have lentils. And I'm sure there was a reason, but it just seemed weird. But I did notice during that diet, I couldn't have any wheat. And my stomach felt really, really good. I mean, there were other things I couldn't have either. I couldn't have sugar. I couldn't have caffeine. I couldn't have fun. I couldn't have parties. All that kind of thing. So I was thinking though that my stomach really hurt around the holidays, just kind of bloaty. And I was like, you know what? My stomach felt really good for those 2 weeks that I was on the Whole30. And I got to reading about it. And sometimes, people with fibro also go gluten-free and they find that it helps with inflammation. But also gluten entropathy has a lot of the same symptoms as fibromyalgia. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to try and just see if this helps me. And I'm sad and happy to say that my stomach feels excellent. Feels really, really excellent. And so I'm gluten-free. I'm not super happy about it, and it doesn't mean I can't ever have gluten again, but I really am gonna try it for 30 days because they said you need to just get it out of your system. So instead of doing like, oh, these gluten-free, this gluten-free bread is actually really good. It tastes almost like really good wheat bread. I'm just thinking of things that I like to eat that happen to not have wheat in them. And I'm not going so into it that I'm like reading ingredients in, I don't know, like salad dressing to make sure there's no gluten. I'm just really avoiding, you know, fun things like cake, pasta, pizza, cookies, bars, brownies. I think I can't have ice cream cones. I guess I could have a sundae. But anyway, that's what I'm trying. And who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody about it, and they were like, oh, are you doing this too? Are you doing this too? I was like, hey, you know what? One miserable thing at a time. And my mom said, you know what? I have a friend that gets headaches when she eats chocolate. And so she's just like, you know what? I don't even like chocolate anymore because it just gives me such headaches that I have such a bad feeling about it, and it doesn't even sound good. And I was like, yeah, bread always sounds good. Really good bread. Pizza is awesome. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know what? I don't even feel like having delicious wood-fired pepperoni pizza with basil on the top of it because it might make my stomach feel a little bloaty. Right, Zero? So I'm not all into it, but I am all into it, but I'm not. What I actually am all into is I happened to hit that night the 90% off at Target, and so I stocked up on cards for next year in case I do another fundraiser. I did get a number of gifts at Christmas from viewers and also everybody who sent donations. I sent cards out, so I kind of went through a lot of cards, and I ended up having to buy more during the season, and they were 90% off. So I got some like individual cards for 10 cents, and I got, you know, boxes of cards for 70 cents or whatever, or $1.30 for a whole bunch of cards. And that's awesome. And so it's not that I don't love you guys, and the cards are super cute. I got super, super cute cards, but I just didn't pay very much for them. I got a few rolls of wrapping paper and some stickers and a 2-foot long box of Russell Stover chocolates for $4. So that was pretty awesome. They only had one of those. Now you do have to, when you shop clearances like that, and I know because we used to be quite the bargain shoppers, even as children. My mom was big into the after Christmas shopping. You have to look up high and down low. People tend to look, and I just know this having been in retail a long time, people shop what's in front of their faces. And if you're willing to get down on your knees and like look to the back of the bottom shelf, or stand on your tiptoes, or run your hand along the top, you can find awesome treasures that people just didn't see because it wasn't convenient. And that's where I found that box of chocolates was up on the top shelf. Sometimes people, I'm not kidding, sometimes people hide stuff to come back later to buy it. So find their stashes. That's all I got to say. Also, my sister was going to go that night too, and I said, make sure to look on the backs of the end caps, like the end of aisles in other sections of the store, because some places in the store also had Christmas stuff and people missed that. They just kind of went straight to the Christmas section and missed the little kind of pockets here and there throughout the store where there was also Christmas stuff. I'm all into my new planner, Zero. I'm all into you. I got a planner at Books A Million, and it wasn't on sale, unfortunately. I think it probably should have been in the magazine aisle, because Flow, is it Breathe? I thought it was Flow. Okay, so it's Breathe. It's called the Breathe Special Journal 52-week planner, and it's super cool because it's kind of set up like a lot of these bullet journals that people are doing. I had heard about bullet journals, and I thought, you know what, that's going to be a great way to organize my year. I'm going to start bullet journaling. Okay, bullet journalers go a little cuckoo. And I don't know if you've seen them, but like they get really involved where they're like drawing pictures on every page and like making sections so that every day they can have like their word for the day and stuff. And while that's really cool, I don't have time for that. So I ended up finding this one. I'm going to set you down for a second, just in my lap. No, it's okay. So this one this is what like a standard week looks like. So you fill in the numbers here, and the cool thing is it's not, you could start this in 3 years. The dates aren't written in it. You write as you go. And then it's got other sections for notes and things, and your weekly reflection, which I actually am going to, they put suggestions for questions in the front. It doesn't come with stickers or anything, but it is really kind of cool. And I think like every month or so they give you, well, anyway, they're like little cool kind of funky pages. If you don't like the road you're walking on, start paving another one. Dolly Parton. So that's going to be my planner. And I think it's cool. It's very kind of updated and mod. And I really, really like it. It was $20. But I think that'll be really handy. And I like it. I don't know why they make planners without spiral bindings, though. I think spiral bindings are cool. I could take that one over to Kinko's and have them spiral bind it in. I might. Okay. I'm all into Hercules Candy, which is a channel here on YouTube, and I'll put a link below to the Hercules Candy channel. They are a 4th generation candy store, and they just this last summer moved into a brand new location. Until then, they were in the original home that housed the candy store on the main level and then the candy laboratory on the bottom level in the basement that the current owner's grandparents started. And so like some of the equipment down there is from the Depression, which is super cool. And now the people who are running it now, their kids are in their 20s. And so they kind of help out too. And what happened is they, the son has some other channel that, I don't know, that he has. I don't even know what it is. And one time he was like, you know what, I'm going to shoot a video about my parents who run a candy store, which like, who doesn't want to watch that? It's super fun to watch people make candy. And he did it and it went viral. Or just, you know, it went super big. And they were like, okay, there's actually a market for this. And so he now films, you know, a lot of them are an hour and then sometimes they're shorter, but they've now moved into a new location and they just had somebody drive through their front door last week. Like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but they're in a new location now, and they've expanded because they have like almost 300,000 subscribers, and they have a website and you can order their candy from them. But it's really, what I like about it is as you watch it, you kind of get to know the family, and they're kind of quirky, but they're funny. And the mom is like really smart and kind of sassy, and the dad is like typical dad where he tells dad jokes and he's very like, okay, I don't know. He's just like a typical dad. The kids, but they're very sweet. Like everybody really enjoys each other. And then the son who's filming, his friend is actually getting trained in on how to make the candy. The owners now haven't taken a vacation since 1988. That's commitment. And their candy looks really good. And it's just fun to see how they do it and they explain it. And even though they've done, you know, multiple times filmed the same kind of candy, they get different things each time. And there's just kind of banter back and forth and kind of joking, and it's fun to watch. It's kind of more like reality TV used to be, you know, before it got real, kind of almost scripted and predictable, where it's like, okay, how do we sass this up so that it's more interesting? These are people, just real people doing what they do every day. And the son and his friend, I was watching one this week where they said, you know what, I don't even watch the clock at this job. Like, I literally am excited to come to work every day. I don't watch the clock. The day is over so fast, and I just super enjoy working here, which I think is really cool. I'm all into this one kind of scratching post, and I'll put a picture here. And we have cats here, as you know, and they like to scratch things. And so people say, well, don't your cats scratch up your furniture? And yes, I mean, sometimes they do. But we've gotten better at managing it. And there's this one kind of scratcher that I get at Amazon, and it's called the Pioneer Pet Ultimate Scratching Post. And it's got tons of awesome reviews. I think it's about $40. Super highly recommend this one. It's $40, and if you have Prime, if the shipping is free, it is heavy duty, and it will last, you know, if you only have one cat, this thing will last you 5 years easy. Ours last a year or two, and they look good. They're sturdy. They don't create a lot of like extra fiber pulling out all over the place. It's really just a great scratching post. And one of the things I like about it is that it's tall. Sometimes you see scratching things and the cat just has to kind of stand and do this. You want them to be able to reach and scratch and reach and scratch. That's what they want to do. And so what you do is you just set this by places where they're wanting to scratch. So like I've got one on the corner of this new furniture that we got, and then when they feel like scratching, they just do it on the post instead of the furniture. So I would highly recommend that if you are looking for a new scratching post. It's a good investment. It lasts forever, much more than if you bought like those cardboard scratchers, which they also like, but honestly, they make a mess and they don't last that long. Okay. Now, last week before Christmas, like a week before Christmas maybe, I was in my closet and I forgot that I just had this on one of my shelves. And it's this little leisure arts girl, Victorian kind of angel. And so I brought her out and had her here in my craft room on my desk here this week for Christmas. And I just wanted to show that to you. I thought it was really, really cute. Soft colors. Soft colors. That was a frame that I got, somewhere for $2, I think. And I really like it. So, okay. So I started a new WIP schedule for the year. And no reason. I wasn't not happy with the way I was doing things, which was basically just working on what I wanted to work on. One of my goals, I guess, for the year was to make sure that I stitch every day. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't feel like stitching. But then I sit down and within 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm stitching. So I need to do that. I have this box here that I got in Fargo at this, like, kind of, it wasn't a thrift store, but it wasn't really like an antique store. It was just kind of a junk store or whatever. And I probably paid, $10 for it or something. It's really heavy duty. It was obviously the drawer for something, and it's the original chippy kind of salmon paint. I really like it. And so I've got any of my bags that I've got, project bags, are stacked in there. And what I do is I pick the one at the front each day. I have to stitch on it for an hour. And then I can put it down and work on something else. Doesn't really matter. But usually what I'm finding happens if I want to stitch longer than an hour, I just keep going because I've got a rhythm going. And then when I'm done with that day, I put that one at the back and the others push forward. And that way I'm kind of changing, every day what I'm stitching on. And then I have other rules because it's fun to make a game out of it. So let's say I come across one and I'm like, ugh, I don't feel like working on this one. And these are just random, whatever was in project bags. And then I had some empty project bags that I just threw random things in. That's what's in there. There's no rhyme or reason. So if I'm not feeling it, I come across one, I'm like, ooh, I don't love this one. Then I can move it to the cabinet, the old anchor cabinet from my shop, and get a different WIP out, but I have to work on it for 2 days, at least an hour. And that's to just see if are you really not liking this piece, or you just need to get back into it. And then I made a list in another little notebook I had of my WIPs that were started as of at New Year's Eve. And there used to be 35, which I was like, that's pretty good considering I started 29 in May. But then I remembered that I had my Christmas box. But there are only 2 in there, I think, 2 or 3. And then I have one other one that was in the car that I took the other day. So 35, 36, 37, 38, 30, I might have 39, which still isn't too bad. And then what I did on this list is I marked them. Here's how I marked them. And this is where I used my bullet journal skills. You'll have to check out bullet journaling. It's pretty hardcore. So I marked each one. They got a number. And then I put an M next to it if it was started in Stitch Mania. And then I put a heart next to it if it was something that I really, really love and would like to finish this year. I put an E next to it if it was an easy finish. And some of these items had more than one designation next to it. If it's an easy finish, meaning it's either a really small piece or it's something bigger that I'm close to the end of. I put an O next to it if it's old, meaning, and I didn't really necessarily pick a year. It's just oh, this one, I've had this for a while. I put a sad face next to it if it's not my favorite. And I had one of those, a couple of those maybe. And I had a BAP next to it if it was a big project. And I don't even really know why I designate them, but I guess it's kind of interesting then looking at it to see there weren't as many Mania ones still left as I thought there were. And there are a number of them that really are pretty close to being done. And so really within a rotation or 2 or 3, they'll be finished. Okay, so then the next rule is that if I finish one, if it's small, I get to start another small one. And if I finish one that's designated as a BAP or a big project, I get to start one more big project or 2 smaller projects. And then, so that's every day of the week through Saturday. So Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday is my free day. So it's anything goes. I really am trying not to work on Sundays. I'm really trying. I do end up working a little bit on Sundays, but I'm trying not to work on Sundays too much because I gotta rest sometimes. And so on Sundays, I can do anything. I can start a project. I can pick something out of the drawer at random. I can pick something out of my cabinet at random. I can start a punch needle project. I can work on my quilt. I can make some pillowcases, anything I want to do. Sunday is an anything goes kind of day, which I like. I like that. It'll make me look forward to Sundays and just really using it as a crafting day. Oftentimes too, if I go to Jen's, she'll have me come over on a Sunday starting at like 2, and I'll go over there for maybe 5 or 6 hours. And so that would be fun too. Okay, and then the other rule is none of these rules matter. So, you know me, I don't punish myself with my projects. And I know there are people who are like, nope, I gotta work 10 hours on this week, even if I'm not enjoying it. I don't believe in punishing myself with my needlework. So if I feel like doing something else, I can. These are just guidelines, is all they are, right, Zero? It's just a guideline. So anyway, that's my new. That's how I'm doing my stitching this year. Okay. Did that. All right. Oh no, I forgot to sing. That's what I'm all into this week. And one of the things I'm not that much into, but I'm kind of into it because it makes me feel better, but I'm not into it. Page 2. You know what? I also forgot to say which StitchyTube this is. This is lucky number 37. Welcome to those of you who are new. You can see things can be a little disorganized around here sometimes. All right, I didn't have much for stash. I did, I ordered some charts in, and I thought this one was awful cute, and so I'm going to have to add that one to my list of things I'd like to stitch. It's a Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread Spring Frolic at Bunny Hill. We're not there yet. I love the chocolate bunnies, but here's what I really love is that their feet, they've each got one foot up, like la la la, and one's got the basket of eggs. It's cute. It's cute. I would maybe, so if I was stitching this, I would do it exactly as it is, except I think I would do the grass so that it was a solid color. Just pick a floss color and just go with it like that. I'm not so much into stripey. All right. And then I got some magazines when I was at Books A Million too. Zero, did you know that? They just make such good magazines these days, and I like that some of them are like magazines, but they're kind of also sort of like books. Because like I hang on to those. It's not like a magazine where it's like, oh, I've got, ads for L'Oreal and I don't know, Stouffer's, Lean Cuisine every other page. When a magazine, to me, when a magazine is full of ads, I realize that that's how they make their money, but it's not as enjoyable to look at. It just feels like you're like, oh, no more ads. So some magazines go lighter on the advertising, but then the magazine is a little more expensive, but it's bigger, it's more like a book, and it's something that I want to hang on to. Granted, I can't clip any coupons out of it, but that's okay. And one that I pick up from time to time is called Prims, and it comes out, I think, quarterly, but I don't always catch it. It's not needlework necessarily, but it's about people who make mainly like dolls and stuffed animals in a prim, grungy fashion. And you know how much I like grunge. So like, let's just see. So like, here's these little guys. And let's see. Here's a little Celtic crow. And so it's just full. I don't know how many pages it is. 144 pages. And mostly ad-free. I think there are a few ads here and there, but you really don't, it's not heavy on the ads at all. And so a lot of these are folk artists or, just hobbyists where they've designed something for the magazine. And I think this one came out in the fall, but it was just still at Books A Million. It's a $15 magazine, I think. And like I said, it only comes out quarterly. I catch it once in a while, but I've got probably 6 of them, that I've purchased. And they're just really fun to look at. And you get finishing ideas, on how they do different things. And, inspiration. And you kind of get to know these little artists. There's not really a lot of projects in this where they lead you step by step how to do something. There's usually 1 or 2. But a lot of it you could, they kind of explain at least their method. Like they kind of take you generally through how they make things. So that's kind of a fun one to look at. Like I said, it's just a once in a while magazine. It's by Stampington and Company, which they make a number of these kind of more high quality. Like the paper's nicer. It's got a book edge rather than a, just kind of like a folded magazine edge. So I picked up that one. I picked up Make It Yourself Flow. And this one is really fun to look at. I know Jen collects these Flow magazines. And again, this is more expensive. This one, it's printed in the UK. The paper's really nice. This is a really big book. Does it say how many pages it is? I don't know. But they give you a bunch of papers to use, like in scrapbooking and things like that. And there are stickers in this one. Let's see if I can find the stickers because they're really cute. They have these handmade, this was what sold it for me, is these stickers that are handmade, like to put on gifts that you've made, which I thought was really cool. And there are templates for making some of the projects in here. And again, it's different. Like here's a mini crochet bag. And, oh, there's What's Their Toes. Dolls. And here's little houses. So this one is a little bit folkier, funkier, kind of a little bit more, like maybe 1960s and 70s, I would say. But again, really fun to look through and something that I will definitely hang on to. And then the other magazine that I picked up is one that y'all probably would like, is called Simply Vintage. And I think Jen collects these too. Here on the back, you can see some of the projects in here. So cute. I love that little thing there. And I really am trying this year to really become more proficient with using my sewing machine. I definitely have become more comfortable with it. And it's been fun. Oh, here's What's Her Toes. Oh. Okay, so I collect Lorianne Corellis. She is the coolest. She has had a blog for a long time. I don't know if she still does. She makes these stuffed animals. And they used to pop up on her blog from time to time. And they're expensive. But they're one of a kind. She makes them in the old way of making jointed stuffed animals. I'm going to enjoy looking at that because she is amazing. Here are some more of her stuffed animal things. So that's really cool. But this is quilts and crafts. And I try not to look through them too much at the bookstore because I like surprises. It's more like a surprise if you bring it home. Having worked at the bookstore, I can tell you when we had, and they still do, hundreds of kinds of magazines. I used to be the magazine specialist. So it was my job every week to haul the totes from the back full of magazines. I don't know how heavy they were, but they were really, really heavy because there would be maybe 80 magazines in a tote, and they were these big plastic boxes. And so I would have to put them on a dolly, get them out to the front, put the new ones out, take the old ones out, and take them to the back, and then they would pick them up, and then we would get credited for those. And hundreds of magazine titles, like it's a very, very good selection, of magazines. And you get people, I'm not going to be ageist or anything, but they were typically, 55 to 70 years old that would want to come and read the magazines and then leave. Like they didn't want to pay for magazines, but they wanted to read the magazines. And there was even this lady, and they would come in every week. And it was fine. Like it didn't bother me because I feel like the magazine people don't care if the magazines are purchased or not because people are looking at the ads. I don't think they really care. It's kind of gross when they end up in the bathroom, which they do. So if you're buying magazines, please grab from the back. I always do. I always grab a magazine from the back, not from the front. And then this one woman would bring in a butt cushion like that she would, because we had these wood benches. They're big and wide black wood benches. They're very super flat, just flat, big wide bench, almost like a coffee table, but a little higher than that. And so she actually had a butt cushion that she would bring in, and she would get a huge stack of magazines out and sit all afternoon and read. You know, it was like Better Homes and Gardens type stuff, all those decorating magazines. And like I said, it was no skin off my teeth for if people came and sat and looked at the magazines. It really didn't bother me at all. What did bother me was a lot of those people, when they're done reading, stand up and walk away. And they leave 40 magazines that now all have to be put back where they were. And there's cards everywhere because the subscription cards have fallen out. To me, that's kind of like, I feel like people who behave that way have never worked in retail. So they just don't really think about it. They're like, oh, well, it's their job to pick it up. You came in and read for 3 hours for free. Maybe you could put your magazines back where you got them from. It's kind of like the people who come in like 5 minutes to closing and browse, and you let them know that you're closing, you know, we're closed now, and they're like, oh, okay. So that's my little gripe. Okay, so those were my magazines that I got. That's really all I got for stash. I didn't have any other stash this week. I wanted to take an interlude here. An interlude? Zero. I was thinking this week, I have all kinds of nicknames for Zero. He is Zero, Z, Z Cavarici, which slips into Z Cavs, Zebo, call him Zebo all the time now lately, Zebo, and the Zika virus. I literally call him the Zika virus. Okay, that's just a little bit about me. Okay, but I wanted to take an interlude because I asked for people to send me pictures. I had gotten a bunch, but then like I didn't know where they all were, and people sent me pictures of their cats watching me on FlossTube, and it makes me feel a little bit like the Pied Piper, you know, like maybe that I have like this now worldwide posse of cats that watch me on FlossTube. So here's a little interlude of some cats watching me on StitchyTube. Please try not to notice like how perfectly awful I look in each of these pictures. I need to like try to just make a more pleasant face all the time. When you freeze me, it's not good. So here are my cat friends. So when I say ladies and gentlemen in these videos, what I really need to say is ladies, gentlemen, and cats, because the cats are watching, and I know that's why, because I have always got my posse of cats with me. We've got Ruby, Fitz, and Zero today. Okay, I'm going to mention that I know some of you who are shop owners and some of you who aren't will be going to the Nashville Needlework Market. I did get asked to teach a class about making videos for FlossTube. And so I am offering a class that you can just email me to sign up for. I was told, I think my limit is 25, but if it goes over, they might be able to get me extra space. And so it's a free class, and it's Friday. I want to say it's Friday morning at like 9 or 10, something like that. The schedule is on the Nashville Market page. And so I'm just letting you know in case you're coming and you want to sign up. I'm not going to talk necessarily about like, okay, here's the technical part of it. I'm going to have a part of my lecture will be about how to go about getting set up to shoot videos. But it's going to be more general than specific because I know people are going to be coming with different, like, oh, I have a Mac. Oh, I have a PC. Oh, I want to shoot it on my phone. Oh, I want to shoot it on my, my Airbook. I want to shoot it on my iPad. And so it's mainly going to be general, and I probably will talk more about how I do it and then just offer advice or direct people in a direction after the class if they want to email me with more specific questions. But it's going to really be more about like, you know, how to make videos, how to make authentic videos where you have things enough to talk about and just kind of general advice, things to do, things not to do. And I hope it'll be helpful. Hopefully I'll answer some questions too that people have about it. I know that a good number of the people who have signed up have said, I know that I really need to do this, but I'm really shy, or I'm really unsure. I'm feeling very nervous about, kind of making the leap into shooting videos. And so hopefully I'll help people, get going on that. Okay. I wanted to talk about my whips then. These were since the first, this is what I worked on. And so I thought I'd share my project bags with you too. Steve got me this one on Etsy a few years back. You know how much I like Hall & Oates. So it's Daryl Hall and John Oates H2O. This is actually like what the tape looked like. Is it both sides? It sure is. It's both sides of the tape. I didn't know if it was sides 1 and side 2. And so this was a cassette tape I used often. It's kind of a cool little bag. It's pink on the inside. And so I worked on Stacy Nash's Henrietta. She's really, really cute. And I want to make that too, the little tape measure. And so this is how far I got. I just worked on filling in the green while I watched Hercules Candy, and then I started her wings so that I had a border and I didn't have to pay attention to where to put the green anymore. So that is going to be really cute. Here's what the back of it looks like. And Stacy always includes finishing directions. And I really want to make it just like she did because I think it's cute as can be. That's where I'm at. And this is a really cute one. She's got a whole series of these animals. I've got a few on my site, but I really should work on getting more because they really are stinking cute. And when you see them at market, you're like, oh Lord, they're so cute. So that one's really fun. It's the green I'm enjoying is Tarragon, I want to say, by Weeks Dye Works. And if you don't have that in your stash, it's a nice practical green if you like prim or if you like samplers. Zip! Okay, my next project I almost didn't want to stop stitching on, and I have these on order because you can't get these at Hoffman anymore. It's Nest Sweet Nest by Just Another Button Company, and it comes with the button pack. Okay, so it comes with all the buttons, and I want to say with the buttons in the chart, it's like $14-ish, maybe? I don't know. It could be, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. It'll be what it's going to be, but I would guess that's the range. And so here's what it is. It's a little blackbird sitting on a nest that's built on top of a wooden spool. And it's got a little tag there with buttons on it. I think it's really, really cute. I always kind of liked this one. And so here's where I'm at on that one. And you can see I'm really pretty close to finished. I'm getting there. I'm not stitching it on. I think they probably used what? Grasshopper? Called it Grasshopper fabric by Weeks Dye Works, which is kind of a, yellow green. I had this piece of kind of more of a blue green. It was just a scrap of 30 count R&R, which I don't know if they make this color anymore even. You really could do it on a whole bunch of different colors, but I thought this would look really nice. I'm having a super fun time with it. The interesting thing about this pattern is that it's kind of more like shaded, but it's in overdyed threads, which is unusual. Usually you do shading with DMC. And this one is in a very cute Grumpy Cat bag that I got from a viewer. She did a great job. Her corners are amazing. I look at the corners right away, and my corners are not amazing. My corners are zero amazing. But it's kind of Christmas Grumpy Cat. And it has a pocket on the front, so that's really, really nice. Because I have my own grumpy cat, right? But she's not grumpy. She's actually been kind of weird today. She's been kind of running around wild-eyed, so maybe she's got a stomach ache or something. Grumpy? I don't know. She also sent me this lovely project bag, and it's got a cool thing, which I should put a little card in there and say what's in here, but it is kind of fun to open my project bag and not know what I'm stitching on. It's got little snaps. Grumpy Cat is on the inside. And, oh yeah, okay. See, I even forgot already what it was. This one is Prairie Schoolers reprint of Birds and Berries. And this is a reprint, and it's available in my shop, and stores can order it directly from Hoffman Distributing. It's a $12 chart. It used to be out of print, and I watched this one for 5 years. I would watch it on eBay, like trying to find somebody who foolishly listed it for $6. And no luck. It was always like $45. $45, $45, $45. And I'm like, oh, I can't justify it. It's $12 now, so justify it. Super cute. What I'm going to do is stitch them like this. So they're going to, I mean, not like this. In this order, but all together. So on the same piece of fabric. And I feel like the way that they're arranged is perfect. That they're all kind of facing inwards. And I don't know which one is my favorite. I don't have a favorite. Y'all probably like the cardinal. So I'm working on the first bird, which is a golden-eyed, I don't know what it is. It's a bird with some blue. So there it is. And I'm stitching it in DMC with 2 strands on 32 count. And this is a sugar, it's an Australian company, Sugar and Spice. And it's called Manor Brown, maybe. It's lovely, and it's a piece that I just had in my stash, and it's going to be great. And as always, when I start something on splotchy fabric like this, I go through, it's like when I cut my hair, I go through an initial phase of, oh my gosh, this fabric's way too busy, this is going to look terrible. But then I get stitching on it, and really once you crop in on it, and you don't see all the splotches, it's a lot more subtle than you think it's going to be. I did enjoy working on this bird because I got to use for the first time, I think in years, DMC 930, 932. And I was like, oh, it's going back to the old days when I used to use DMC in 80s colors. And it was 90s colors too. But it's very pretty. She's a great designer. And I like this because it's really a lot more shaded than her other designs. Don't you think? And she shows them here finished other ways too. Y'all probably like that cardinal. I bet you do. I know you ladies and gentlemen and cats. I bet the cats don't care. I bet they're like, they all look delicious. I mean pretty. Isn't that what you say, cats? Okay, and then the last one I worked on was in this bag, which is from Etsy store So Much to Love. And I'm seeing there's some cat hair on it. It's really cute. I bought one of these because everybody was talking about them. I was like, I gotta check these out. It's a really pretty gray bag. So I probably should buy another one of her bags. She's very talented. And the inside is polka dots. But I gotta have dogs and chairs. I wish, maybe I'll go see if she's got some with cats. So this one is, do I have the picture in here? Okay, I do. Esther Sayer by Plum Street Samplers. So there's what it's gonna look like when it's done. When it's finished, it's going to look like that. And I am enamored with this one. I think the colors are so, you know, I'm not super like, ooh, feminine. This is very feminine in a very like historic, beautiful, soft way. This piece is a whisper. You know what I mean? It's very, very pretty. It's got eyelet alphabet, which I'm all about the eyelet alphabet. And it's, I mean, it's pretty minimal. I, of course, jumped right into this band here as soon as I could get there, because I loved that band. So let me show you where I'm at. Oopie-doo. Oh no. Oh, I'm stuck. Help. Okay. Oop, nope. Oh no, it's ruined. Okay, we're just gonna... Okay. All right. I'll find the needle later. So here's where I'm at. Very, very pretty. And I've got quite a bit of it done. But you can see how beautiful this this row is here. Isn't that pretty? Very, very pretty. And I'm stitching the verse over one with the. I'm not using the called for threads on this one. I did a sub out. She says needlepoint silk or DMC, and I really wanted to use like some of my trees. I like to work with my threads in a clump because I feel like they get to know each other. They're going to spend a lot of time on the same piece together, and I want them all to get along. So they're going to have to work out their differences in the clump, and then later they'll be beautiful. They won't argue while they're on the piece. That's what I choose to believe. So I used some of Nina's threads By the way, keep Nina in your thoughts. I don't know if you know Nina from Nina's Threads on Etsy. She makes beautiful, beautiful threads. Her daughter has been sick for a couple of months, and they actually ended up in the hospital this last week. They are back at home, but just sending good thoughts and prayers that she gets better and that mom gets some sleep too, because I know it's been a tough couple of months. And I don't know if I used this, did I? I just kind of scratched I did. Banana Nut Bread was a sampler thread limited edition that I had. So I just kind of picked based on the photograph on the front, and I'm kind of liking it so far. I'm really liking it so far. I'm not a huge fan of stitching verses over one. It's laborious and it feels like you're not making progress very quickly, but you are. And if you do it a little at a time, it's not so bad. Just keep your chin up and sing a song and watch people make candy on TV. Okay, so that's my whips for this week. And then, of course, this next week I'll have 7 more. Tonight, should we see what I'm going to work on tonight? It's whatever's in the front. All right, it's in this beautiful bag. Also a gift from a very nice viewer. Her corners are also beautiful. And this one's got the nice see-through vinyl on the front. So this is, and I actually worked on this Christmas week, I think. Here's the bag first. And it's got like, it's kind of like got gold metallic. It's very pretty. Look at those butterflies. It's got a little charm right there. So this is a GGR piece that I've converted to some silks. I haven't converted the whole thing yet. I've got those 4 sheep done, and I've got the border done from the very top down to the bottom quarter because I wanted to eat my dessert first. I kind of see samplers like this are like dinner and dessert. You need to eat your vegetables and your proteins and whatever. But I really wanted to eat dessert first. So I worked my way to the bottom so that I could stitch the sheep. I love that cow. Like this whole scene at the bottom is swoon worthy. And the rest of it I think we'll stitch really quickly. Like there's a lot of stitching here, and the border is really just one of those kind of key, I don't know what they remember, lock and key. I don't know. There's a name for it. It's just kind of a loopity doopity kind of border. So that's not going to be a ton. Look at how cute these little tassels are. Like just charming. The verse says, okay, it says Anne Harding. Let me take a drink. Let no revenge inflame our hearts, no anger tease our minds, but let us act a Christian part towards God and all mankind. 1811. Seek virtue and of that seek virtue and of that professed, maybe, henceforth to God resign the rest. Oh my gosh, look at this tree. Look at that tree. That tree's really cool. It's got a little windmill, this little house behind the fence. I mean, there's just a lot to love about this. I don't carry GGR right now. I'm hoping she's at market so I can buy a bunch of her charts for the shop. She's a very talented lady and so, so sweet. So sweet. From Belgium. Belgium, I think. Right? I hope that's right. Okay, so that's my whips. And then, as always, I'm just going to spend the last, couple minutes here talking about 3 things from the shop. If you don't want to listen to me blabber. Wait a minute. Did I forget something? I did. Let me first say, in fundraiser news, we closed out the year on December 31st, the evening, at $12,557, which is an amazing number. It's an amazing number. Ginny's email. Actually, let me see if I can find Ginny's email so I can read it to you. Hold, please. Okay, it said AGH, A-G-H, all capital letters, exclamation point. Wow, exclamation point. I'm so blown away. Thank you so much for doing this fundraiser. I cannot tell you just how much it means. We're getting the enrichment station ordered, and I'm going to work on a thank you video from the staff and animals to send you. I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing this and making it possible. I am speechless and so grateful. So that's very nice. You guys did that. That was awesome. I had so many people donate wonderful things. People are still buying the Christmas land chart. Actually, so I'll just make this number 1 thing that I'm talking about on my site, which is the Christmas land chart. Christmas land was a chart I released a long time ago with Raise the Roof Designs with Sharon Crescent from Crescent Colors. And it used to only be available as a kit with the silks. And it just isn't available really anymore that way. I kind of had that agreement with her, and she sold her company. And I mean, I definitely would work with Diane. She's so lovely, and the good people at Classic Colorworks. But I thought, you know, why don't I just use this chart as a way to make money for the animal shelter? And so you can download it for $10 or buy it as a chart for $10. It's just that then you have to pay $3 shipping, but you might find some other things you want too. And I'm not taking that down. I feel like the last couple of days there's been some panic. I don't know if anybody said anything, but it feels like all of a sudden there was like this upsurge of people buying it again. I haven't kept track of how many I've sold. It's been quite a few. But I'm going to keep it up on the website if you look in the Christmas section, or if you type in Christmas Land. And then what I'll do is just keep it. I keep a running tab. I have a notebook that's almost half full of all the purchases that have been made so far, and I tally them every double-sided page and another side of a page. And so the enrichment station fundraiser is capped. Like, you can't add to it anymore. So I'm going to I told Jenny I would just keep track of what I make, and then once in a while take her over a check, because then that way they don't pay a fee. But also I was thinking that it might be really cool to start buying things for the upcoming season of kittens, especially. The shelter receives a lot of kittens starting about Easter is when they come in. In fact, one of the, I wonder if I have a picture. If I do, I'll put a picture here of, what was her name? So she had 4 babies on Easter, and the babies' names were Peter, Peep, Bunny, and Jellybean. And they were so cute. Her name was like Lily maybe, and she was beautiful little diluted calico tabby, diluted tortie. She was a diluted tortie. And so she had her babies on Easter, but Easter is typically when the influx starts, and then it's crazy until, you know, like the first week of October. But really, like June, July, August, forget about it. It's nothing but kittens, and it's so many kittens. And they have a great foster network set up, but it's so many kittens all at once. And the problem is that sometimes you're getting litters in where they're just weaned. So they're maybe 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old. They can't, you know, they're not suckling anymore. Mom has kind of done nursing them, but they are finding it difficult to eat hard food. And so I think it would be cool to maybe use that money to start stocking the shelter up on soft food, canned like pate and stuff for those kittens that come in, because when they run out, what they do is they end up kind of watering down. They kind of soften hard food with water, and they don't like it as much. And it's just, the kittens do so much better when they're eating just wet food, you know, in that 4 to 5 week range. And it's just nice for the staff not to have to go like, oh my gosh, we're out, what are we going to do? And then also maybe buy some formula for them too. So that's what I may do with the money that comes in from now to then, because they do sometimes have people donate the wet food, but the formula is less common, and honestly, they need it really badly. It's not cheap, and, you know, the volunteers who volunteer often buy it themselves. I used to make, and I still have four cans of evaporated milk in my cupboard. Evaporated milk and egg yolk, Karo syrup and water. I used to make my own formula, because it really is kind of spendy to do formula, but it's balanced and it's really good for them. And so I may do that too, just to kind of help them out. Okay, so don't worry about Christmas Land. I guess that's the main message. It's available, and I will keep track, and that money will go to the shelter either as a financial donation or a supplies donation for something that I know they really need. Formula and wet food is just so important. Okay, and bottles too. I could buy bottles too. If I get them on Amazon, I bet I could get a much better deal. If you buy them, you know, you can get them at the local pet store and stuff, but usually they're like $6, and you could probably get them for $1 or $2 on Amazon. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about just came in, and it's pin minis, and it's called Felty Swirl. And I thought this was really cute. And if you don't like to sew, this might be the project for you. And they just use a little, they used a votive, just a glass votive, you know, that you could probably get at the dollar store for, let's say somewhere between 99 cents and $1 and a penny. You could get it for that much, somewhere in there. But it's very cute. And this time what they did is they actually sent an instruction sheet, which I don't want to show you too much of it, but so that way you don't have to actually go to the blog. to look it up. You actually are just going to get this full color page with your pins. And so remember, I only get 20 sets of these, and so grab them now. The swimsuits are at Target, so get your swimsuit and then make your little fish pin cushion. Okay, last item is I'm having a sale on the website. It's just kind of overstock, miscellaneous overstock, and I'm done with it kind of stuff. Things that I had too much of. I'm trying to like get prepared for market, which is in 2 months. It's in what, like nine weeks maybe, and some of the stuff that's in the clearance, it's not even necessarily that I'm not going to carry it anymore. Some of it is. Some of it will just get pulled down once it's gone. Some of it was just stuff I accidentally bought a couple times, or I ended up with too much of it left. So anywhere from 15 to 75% off in that section. A link to my website is below. Up in the top part of the website, you'll see like what's on sale. And I may just keep that up depending on if I can keep stuff in it. Stuff is selling pretty quickly. I sent a newsletter out. So if you go to my website, you can actually, down in the bottom corner, you can sign up to get my newsletter. And typically I send out newsletters maybe like 2 or 3 times a month. And it's just like if something's on sale, if something came in, if I have news to share, or I just want to talk about a few things. So you can sign up for that. It's free. Try not to bug you too much. Okay, so sale, pin minis, and Christmas land. Those were my 3 things. And that's all I've got to talk about this week. I hope you have a great one. I hope to have a great one with no gluten. Right, Finn? Boo. I guess I'll be eating popcorn. All right, guys. I hope you have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.